What's up, guys? My name's Nick. This is Mike. This is the You Shouldn't Say That podcast. And I broke OBS as well. Love my job.
You broke OBS, so does that mean you're not live?
I am live. Okay, I didn't break OBS. We're good.
You didn't break it, you just minimized it. No, just kidding. I don't know.
No, I didn't even do that. I just lost my sound bars. We are good. All good. Okay.
Well. Special edition. I like how you named it special edition. Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun. This is like ESPN or something. So you want me just to kind of get in what we were talking about on Twitter?
Yes.
Okay,
I want to
okay.
know
Let's go.
the
It's
gist
hot,
of
right?
things
It's
before.
hot. No. Okay. So it's the whole. You kind of saw the slight rampage I went on the other day, and I was just posting a bunch of shit, right?
Uh-huh.
It was really just pondering thoughts on things, okay? And the whole thing started with the whole LGBTQ, trans, all of it, right? I got to thinking about something where their big thing usually, or I should say a lot of the ones that are, I'll use the word discriminated against, is they want to be comfortable wherever they're at, right? And I understand that. I completely understand that, and I don't disagree with them. I agree. They should be comfortable. The problem I have with that is the way they look at it is as long as they're comfortable, it's okay. But if you are not comfortable, that's fine too. From their perspective, from what I see, right? And the justification behind that a lot of the times is, well, they've been uncomfortable for so long, so it's okay for you to be uncomfortable now. And I'm sorry, that's a cop out. What's your thoughts on that? We'll start there. We'll go there first.
So hold on. Okay, so these people have been uncomfortable in average scenarios, going to Denny's, out to eat, going on a date, going to the movies, etc. They've been ridiculed and mocked in public situations for millennia now, right? Okay. You, me, even average fucking human beings do not have to deal with that.
Right.
Why? A, we just don't give a fuck.
Well,
look at me funny, I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay. B, we don't get ridiculed. I mean, someone might take a stab because I have a fucking Honda tattoo, or my hair is fucking purple, or whatever. Don't care.
Well, right.
But I mean, they're not attacking me personally. They don't know my level of intelligence or whatever.
I mean, you could argue the same thing though with people even attacking. Well, let's focus more on the trans because that's where I see it more lies. The attacks happen.
Right.
But
right.
in the trans community, they're not really attacking the person. I know it's perceived as a personal attack because of the way they look, right? But it's the same idea.
Well, yes, but they're also attacking their lifestyle.
I would
how they choose to live.
I would agree to a degree. And the only reason I say that is because, especially with the trans community, they want everybody to just fully accept their way of thinking. I'm not saying they shouldn't accept their life. Leave their life the fuck alone. Let them do what they want. But it's not enough that you just accept them or leave them alone. It's you better think the way I think or else, which leads to violence and what I guess you could.
How often are you seeing that happen, though?
Well, no. And I'll be honest with you. In my daily life, I don't see that happen. I'm talking about, this is also media bullshit, right? It's fed to us no matter where you sit, algorithms bullshit, right? And I get all that. That was just where the pondering thought came from. It was just like, I understand they want to be comfortable in their everyday life. I understand that. And I don't disagree with it. But why do we have this mentality now where it's like, okay, they want to be comfortable, so who gives a shit if you're comfortable, if the other people are comfortable, if the regular people are comfortable? But you say, well, because for so long they weren't comfortable. Two rights don't make a wrong, or two wrongs don't make a right. You know what I mean?
Right, but okay, it's in this situation, it's not much different than, for instance, Black Lives Matter. People will argue that and say, no, all lives matter, but do they really at this moment in time? Well, that's the problem.
It's a great debate. I mean, we don't want to go down the Black Lives Matter rabbit hole of bullshittery, in my opinion, but
Ooh.
Because there's a difference between the ideology and the movement. There's a complete difference.
I agree. I can totally agree with that.
But it's just like I said though. It's like I get it. A lot of people have made them uncomfortable for a very long time, right? But
it's still happening is the problem.
Well, it's
so they're starting to
changes. Societal changes are not going to happen overnight, and I would argue
no, they're not going to happen ever, not in this country.
Well, no, I would argue the quiet majority, because that's what everybody is the quiet majority. Don't give a shit, right? It's the few vocals that make it look like everybody else does, but then because you come out and you say, I don't really agree with your lifestyle. I don't think, things that you're doing are right. But, you go fucking do your thing. I don't give a shit. I'll stay away from you. You stay away from me. Now you're a transphobe because, you don't agree with their lifestyle. And you can't tell me that doesn't happen.
I'm not going to say it doesn't.
Do you agree with that mentality?
So, you know me. I'm the type of person, live your fucking life. I don't care. But I'm also the type of person who, if someone, Ben Shapiro, for instance, is going to run his mouth because of his religious beliefs or whatever he believes, I will stand against that.
Well, and in the world, or in our country at the very least, you're allowed to stand against that. And I fully believe and support everyone's right to stand against other people. Where I have a problem with it is when it turns to attacks in either verbal, like this isn't just disagreements, and this isn't just conversation. This is yelling and screaming and cornering people. And then this is trying to boycott video games because of what somebody said. It's these things where it's taken to an extreme.
There is extreme situations, and I would agree that the J.K. Rowling situation was extreme, and I think
you brought up so we can kind of partially segue into the other thing I talked about, where I brought up on Twitter. I was like, okay, if Steven Crowder goes to a campus and he's bringing up his political points, right, and he's there doing his thing. For all intents and purposes, legally, he got permission from the campus to be there, from the school to be there. And they go up there, and if they're having a discussion or if they're having a protest, which, in my opinion, a protest is nonviolent. You can verbally protest, you can have signs. Nonviolent is the way a protest should be.
I'm going to disagree with that.
But why?
Why? Because these people have been dealing with this bullshit for so long, and Steven Crowder is a right-wing conservative.
Well, he was just an example, because I'll be honest with you, and I've noticed that it's the right-wing people that go to the campuses to try to stir up shit. I know what they're doing. I'm not stupid.
Well, yeah, but you got to realize, like, his position at Fox of all places, and then he's no longer there, but he's still a right-wing conservative comedian, and he thinks, and comedy is a whole nother situation. Right. We don't need to go into that.
Yeah.
But when you're going out into these public areas such as colleges, high schools, whatever, and you're gonna bash on someone's lifestyle.
But he doesn't bash on them. This is the problem I have, is everybody thinks because he brings up a question, it's bashing, and it's not.
Okay.
To bring up a question for debate is not.
What's
an attack.
The question?
Well, I'd have to go back and look at his stuff.
Because I'd be willing to bet the one question that is always asked is, can a trans woman, what used to be a man, can a trans woman become pregnant?
Well, see,
in today's set.
Well, can a trans woman become pregnant? I'm sorry, but based off biological bullshit, a trans woman cannot.
A trans woman that used to be a man. Okay, she's transitioned into a woman from a man.
Well, she can't get pregnant. That's not how that works.
Oh, your biology may say she can't, but our science today says that she can, and they can and will be able to get pregnant.
When? How? And how does that even work? This is like a shitty 90s fucking comedy movie at this point. Like, did you ever see the movie Junior? Like, did you? I mean,
Well, hold on.
A biological man is not capable of getting pregnant. It's not how the body works.
Right. But science in today's world, like they're implanting ovaries, they're implanting the ability for trans women to become pregnant.
But their body's still not physically designed to handle a baby. My general just off the cuff thought process on that whole situation is you're putting that person's life at risk by doing that to them. Because the male body is not designed by nature, or however the fuck you want to look at it. It's not designed biologically to carry a child.
No, you make a valid point. But this then falls back down to let people do what the fuck they want.
I agree. Let adults do what they want. We could segue into that.
Okay. Well, you want to segue into the let adults things?
I do. Because here's the thing. I thought about this after we went back and forth a little bit on Twitter, and I was like, in our country, right, we don't allow children to smoke cigarettes underage. We don't allow them to drink. We don't allow them to get tattoos, right? So that's all shit that physically affects their body, right? And we do it under the guise of, this is bad for you. Okay? This is physically bad for you. It has nothing to do with the mental bullshit. Mental bullshit's a whole afterthought. I mean, realistically, when you look at all those laws, that's a fucking afterthought. Why the hell, then, would we allow children, minors, mind you, to fundamentally change their body in a way that could have lifelong repercussions? That could potentially be negative repercussions. Yeah, it could. I could see the other side too, and say it could be fine. They could be fine. They could grow up and live a normal life.
Oh, right. But that's why I said it, and like I said this on Twitter, if their parents are willing to consent to that situation, who cares? A parent can consent to me getting a tattoo at the age of 17 or 16.
Well, right, but a parent can't consent to you buying alcohol and drinking it, not legally. A parent can't consent to you buying cigarettes.
But that is a different scenario. How? We're talking about substance, not body.
But no. Puberty blockers. I'll just throw that one into there. Puberty blockers are a substance that goes to inside your body,
a substance,
and that literally affects you on a chemical level.
Yes,
but and does more harm, I would argue, than alcohol and tobacco. Can do more harm.
I don't know about that.
Let's just be honest.
I know a lot of alcoholics, man.
Right. But let's just be honest. In the whole trans thing with the puberty blockers, with the kid discussion, there's honestly just not enough data to know one way or the other. That's just the truth.
Right. But that boils down to, why do we care?
Well, you're a parent, I'm a parent. Obviously, we have different point of views on this.
Of course.
My other point of view on it is, after being an adult for as long as I've been an adult and gone through all the shit I've gone through, it's like they've barely even scratched the surface of experiencing life, and we're letting them make this serious fucking decision. Now, I get what you're saying. If their parents are involved, I lean more towards I don't give a shit than I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, does that make sense?
Right.
Like, it's their parents'
that's just
life. It's the parents get a say in that. I just think fundamentally what can happen due to that. I mean, I've been looking a little more into people that are detransitioning, like not heavy, just here and there a little bit. And a lot of them are like, no, we need to stop telling people this shit's like just reversible and you just go back to normal, because you don't. And people are just labeling them as like transphobes or conservatives. And it's like, hang on a second. If these are people that have actually lived through it, we should take their account, take their life story into account and say, maybe there's something there. But as you've said, in the end of it, I think it should be left up to the parents. It's a medical decision. And I think a parent should really have to, I think any parent should, but some parents are fucking stupid. Any parent should have to really, really consider the factors of everything they're going to put their child through.
Fair enough. Okay, so this is from the chat. I can't remember the number, but it was 80 or 90% of trans people regret having trans surgery within 1 to 3 years. Every day, trans person I This doesn't make sense. I knew regret getting surgery. Two of them killed themselves over it. Okay, but so those two people aren't accounting for the 90% of people who were bullied because they were gay or whatever.
But how much I guess how many studies have been done saying that these people were bullied because they were trans or bullied because they were gay? Because now think I use this just from my personal life experience, right? I think back to when I was a kid, junior high, high school time frame, right? If there were trans kids in the school, I didn't know it. Okay.
No, because they weren't as active as they are
weren't going
today.
to say there. There was a few gay kids that we knew about. Nobody gave a shit usually. I didn't think most of them were even picked on, or in fact, most of the kids I knew wouldn't allow that to happen. You know what I mean?
Right. So let's talk about the difference between your age, because you're what, 10 years older than me?
Yeah.
Okay. And then my age.
Well, I agree. There's fundamentally a difference, and this goes back to a topic we've talked about before on the podcast with how children are being raised.
That's fair, but how? Let me just break this down for you, okay? In your day, people didn't dress the way they do. They didn't act the way they do. They didn't view things the way they do.
Right.
My day, I am part of the emo culture. Okay, we started wearing nothing but black and skinny jeans
You guys
at the
stole it
age of
from the-
fucking 12.
You guys fucking stole it from the Goths, by the way. They had it first. I'm just going to
That's
throw that shit
fair.
out there.
I'm not going to disagree with that because I mean I love goth people too, but I was ridiculed and called gay and what was called a faggot because I wore skinny jeans
Okay.
all the time. Okay, but see, here's the difference. Me not being part of that community, I didn't take it personally. Where these people who are nowadays in today's society, they are part of that community, and people are. It's
but,
no different than
hey,
saying the N word.
No, but well, yes and no, and I get your point. But what I'm saying is, it's like, I think I'm trying to think of how I want to phrase this.
No, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Would you ever walk into a room and like, okay, so there's a gay couple there. Are you gonna call them faggots
Well, no.
to their faces?
Why would I do
But
that?
that happens daily.
But how do
to
you know that?
people.
Have you seen it? Have you personally?
Yes, I've seen it. I've lived it.
You've lived it. You've seen.
I've
You've
seen
had
it
friends.
I've had
relatives,
friends,
whatever.
relatives, people. Yes, it happens daily.
Well, but like I would also argue that's a cultural thing, and I'm not saying that's an excuse. Mind you, first and foremost, hold on. I'm not saying it's an acceptable thing, but a lot of guys, especially young guys in particular, are fucking assholes, right? And they'll use anything and everything
facts.
they can to try to just hurt somebody's feelings.
Well, yeah.
And it
I do
doesn't
that every
necessarily
day.
doesn't necessarily. Well, okay, fair enough. But
But I'm also a mechanic.
Well, me and my one buddy, I mean, shit, we flip each other off, and he calls me a bitch all the time. So I'm like, fuck you. But it is.
But
what
we
it is.
also in today's but we're also from pre 2000s.
So what you're
we have
telling me
thicker
is-
skin.
So what you're telling me is kids are being brought up soft,
Yes,
and they should
But, I
stop
mean,
taking
and
shit
that's
so
just-
fucking personal.
but that's that. Okay, so you're trying to just like, well, this is the problem, but in reality, it's just the way the time is changing. Things
No, I
change
agree.
over
Things
time.
do change over time. Society changes, culture changes, and
Yes,
was
people aren't
what-
as
That was what spurred the whole thought process, and then what led into, in which we could segue into the moral question. Whose morals are fucking right? Because when you really boil it down, morals are completely subjective to the person.
yes. However,
I do think there is
I'll-
a base moral, though, where it's don't harm other people should be one of the base fundamental parts of being base moral.
don't be racist, don't be sexist, don't fucking attack people for the way they want to be, and don't
See,
be a
but-
fucking piece of shit.
Well, no,
it's that simple.
And I agree, though, but here's the problem with that very statement. What do you classify somebody as a piece of shit? Honestly,
someone who attacks a person literally just for the way they are,
okay.
which,
I mean, you
which
can say
again
the same
happens
thing
on a daily basis.
to kind of counter that argument. Somebody who attacks somebody that doesn't accept them but leaves them alone. So if somebody comes up to you and says, I'm trans, you have to accept me. We're like, no, I really don't. I don't give a shit what you do, but I don't agree with your lifestyle. Well, you're a piece of shit. It's the same thing.
I wouldn't call you a piece of shit for that because you're not sitting there attacking them.
Well, no,
Now,
but that's my point.
there are
is
some.
it's
Hold
the
on.
same thing. On
There
the
are
other
some.
end.
There are some people who take it to that level where they're a little extreme. If you don't agree with me, then fuck you. But
Well, right, and I'm not saying
that's the problem. Is yeah. Well, it is. It's not, I wouldn't say it's majority.
Well, no, I'm not saying it is. I'm saying the vocal minority is obviously boosted because of the internet and because of social media and because of just all the bullshit media coverage as a whole, anyways. And the problem, though, is now you're making people. It's the same as the January 6th Trump bullshit. They want to say, well, he pushed all that, he made that happen. Whether you agree or disagree, it doesn't matter. It's beside the point. It's the point I'm making. The media is doing the same thing to the LGBTQ people by basically inciting them to fight back, but now it's taking it too far. I'm not saying they don't deserve to defend themselves. They completely deserve to defend themselves. But when does it come to a point when defending yourself has gone across the line?
I mean,
you are not allowed to physically harm. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. You should not. A moral person should not physically harm somebody for words unless in society we have a strict set of rules and words that there's words that are completely unacceptable to use against people. Then yeah, you probably should get knocked the fuck out. But
we live in America where it's the First Amendment says you can say what the fuck you want.
Kinda. Because
yes.
you can say you're right. You can say what the hell you want, but you don't get away with, it's not free of consequence. Which is why I agree with everything, like the whole like going back to the college campus thing. Yeah, Steven Crowder could go there, say his bullshit. They could yell, scream, do whatever. When it becomes violent or physical or damaging, that's when it's gone across the line, in my opinion. Then that's fine. They're allowed to do that. And you brought the other point. Well, he could leave too. I agree. It's a two-way street. They can both leave, walk the fuck away. He was there for a purpose. Whether it was to stir up shit or not is beside the point. They came into his thing and disrupted it. That's kind of the problem where
personally,
why should he have to move when they came in and disrupted it? It would be the same thing as if somebody went to, what are these gender clinics, okay? And I'm sure they do protest a gender clinic somewhere. I don't know about that. But anyways, if somebody walked into a gender clinic and said, nope, you can't build it there, or you have to demolish your building and shut it down because I don't like it. Which I'm not
That's
sure.
Wrong.
Well, right. That's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be allowed to do that. It goes both ways. Let's boil it down to left and right. Left and right are allowed to have open conversations with people, no matter what.
Are they though?
Well, I would argue, are conservatives really, without trying to be canceled? But then on the flip side, depending on the Democrat, or the liberal, depends on if they get their voice heard or if the right tries to cancel them. It's the same thing on both sides. And but I would argue with mainstream media in this country, liberals get way more press than conservatives. Oh, well, wait, let me rephrase that. Way more positive press than conservatives do.
And I guess that just depends on what you're watching and paying attention to. If the only thing you watch is Fox, you'll get more conservative positivity.
I don't watch Fox, to be honest with you. I flip through fucking Twitter and I look at Facebook, and if I see something that kind of like interests me,
I'll totally agree.
More.
Right. I'll totally agree that there are stations that are more leaning to what their beliefs are. Fox is more conservative, right. CNN is more democratic. Or liberal. But here's the thing about when it comes to CNN is they'll have conservatives and Republicans on their podcasts, or not, excuse me, on their stations, and they will discuss things appropriately. Where Fox is literally
appropriately is debatable, and the only reason I say that is I've seen some of those panels, and it's like one Republican and a shit ton of Democrats. That's not down the center. Fox does the same thing. I'm not saying they don't.
Right,
but
then it comes down to like, let's for instance, like Ben Shapiro. Have you ever seen his shit?
Yes.
He's the most annoying motherfucker on the planet.
He makes
I hate him.
he makes some good points though sometimes. I don't agree with everything
I
he
think-
says.
Listen, I think he makes Elon Musk look good.
You know, I was thinking about this earlier since you brought up Elon Musk. The only reason people fucking hate Elon Musk is because he didn't say Trump was a piece of shit. Before that, everybody loved him.
Right. But I mean,
But since he went
and
side
the fact
with
that-
the liberals, now he's a piece of shit. It's just like before Trump was running for president, people loved him or they had no opinion on him. He
Okay, let me
ran for
ask you this.
president, and now they all fucking hate him.
let me ask you this. In terms of the way this country should be ran, should it be ran as a business?
It's not that simple, though. It's not that simple to say yes or no. Though I will say, the way Trump ran it, the economy was probably better off or going in a better direction than with Biden running it.
Now, hold on. Statistically speaking, no. There's two sides to that coin.
Okay, are you going to remove all the shutdowns from COVID? Because if you're not going to remove that data, it doesn't count. That is bullshit because he gets slammed for all the economy taking a crash during COVID when he virtually got forced to tell everybody to shut down the country when he initially did not want to. Remember,
Well,
in the
hold
beginning,
on.
he was like, no.
Now, hold on.
And then the economy crashed due to COVID. Like, you can't really put that on anybody.
Oh, but I can.
And you can't
Because-
take credit.
No, hold on.
Biden can't take credit for that, for it bouncing back.
Well, no. But look, our economy today, I will put on both this administration and the last.
Well, I could agree with that.
Okay? But no, 110% the crash began in 2020 because COVID was not handled properly.
How do you think COVID should have been handled?
If they
argue
had
that
an-
question.
If they had initially shut down for 2, maybe 4 weeks in the beginning, it would have been done.
Is that completely
There would have been nothing.
No, it wouldn't have. And I'll tell you why it wouldn't have. Because people wouldn't have been allowed to stay home. I've worked in retail during that entire time.
Yes, there
Stores were
was
fucking chaos. If people were
Yeah.
not staying home, people were doing whatever the fuck they wanted, especially here. In
No,
our
I'm saying,
lovely
I'm
state.
saying, I'm talking. If they had, to the extent of martial law,
You can't
if
do
they
that.
had,
You
Why?
can't fundamentally do that in our country.
why?
Because the very basis of our country is freedom. You're going to try to just take our fucking freedom away and enforce it? No.
For 2 to 4 weeks to make sure the economy is saved?
Because
Absolutely.
You and I both know that would not be a 2 to 4 week fucking plan. Come on now. You give this government too much power no matter who the fuck is in control. And they are not going to want to give it back.
Okay, I'll say that you're not wrong in that scenario. However, the military would have taken action to make sure we to make sure we still had our freedoms. Because the one thing I
But-
believe in this country is the military is not as corrupt as as our government.
Well, I don't know though. I mean, I watch TikTok, right? And everything on TikTok's got to be fucking true. Sarcasm, people. Fucking sarcasm, by the way. But there have legitimately been military personnel on TikTok who are legit military said that, yeah, if they tell me to go fucking shoot you guys, I'll do it. Like blind obedience.
There is some that are super extreme, but I don't think that's the case for everything.
Well, and I agree.
And we have specific branch of military here just to protect the citizens. That being said, there is some military members who I'm sure would take the extreme of if they were given orders to fire upon American civilians, they would.
Well, right. I mean, honestly, I'll go back to Germany, right? A lot of the people and a lot of the military, when the Nazis took over, they didn't necessarily think they were doing bad things at the time. And then
No.
they were in so fucking deep, they were like, oh shit, we're here. We don't want to die, so I guess we'll go along with it.
Right.
It's a slippery slope once you give them too much power.
It is a slippery slope once someone gets too much power. However, there was absolutely no plan, no control, no movement
I think the
when
smarter-
COVID struck.
Well, I think personally the smarter move would have been just to leave everything fucking open. It's been proven now, and in hindsight though, and hindsight is what it is, but it's been proven now that COVID was not nearly as horrific as they made it out to be. Did people die because of it? Yes. I'm not saying that that should be just passed over, but people die from shit like the common cold and the flu all the time. So let's not try to act like, it was this massive killer disease.
I mean, 104 million people is quite a bit.
But they also faked the shit out of their numbers, and that was proven multiple times. Because people died with COVID, not of COVID, which I get it is hard to prove. But
total number of deaths due to COVID, 1,128,404.
What's your source?
What's my source?
What's
CDC.
Your source? CDC? Do you believe the CDC? That's not a question.
I don't. But because I'm just saying.
Well, here's the problem: was the way the system worked during COVID, and when they shut everything down, right? They literally incentivized them they incentivized the hospitals to say that people had COVID to keep their doors open. They literally put hospital administrators between a rock and a hard place and said, basically, you have to say people have COVID to keep your doors at least open, even though you're minimal staffing. And that's kind of like I said, they put them in a shitty situation.
Did you notice how no one else was dying of anything else during COVID? I would disagree with that because there have been multiple cases where they had proven that people were dying of other things.
Well,
and that is a very, very right-sided comment. I am mad at you for even saying that in my chat.
Well, okay, but I would say, think about this. How many people, when COVID was doing its thing, did you hear that got the flu? There
was a couple.
A cold. I call bullshit. Did they go to the doctor and get checked? Because every single person that I saw who got any kind of sniffles, cough, cold, or whatever, they were testing them for COVID, and they're like, "Well, yep, you got COVID." I mean, the symptoms for COVID were flu symptoms. They were the exact same thing with a couple things added.
News-wise, you never heard of anything else. I am inclined to disagree with that because CNN was pretty transparent on what people are dying for.
But it was very heavy-handed in the media about the deaths. I mean, literally, they were counting it literally by the day and telling you.
Oh, right. I know. I read the newspaper.
Well, which I thought was overboard. It's like we get it, but we don't need it shoved down our throats because we know it's bad. But was it as bad as they made it out to be? In hindsight, in your opinion, this is a question for you. In hindsight, was COVID as bad as they made it out to be?
I mean, when I had it, it was horrible.
You were sick.
I was very sick.
How many days?
4.
Okay. I was sick 1.
Okay, but see, situational and I mean, I don't know about your immune system. My immune system's usually pretty decent.
Mine's kick ass. I get sick once a year if I'm lucky.
See, and I used to say that. I used to fucking say that. Now I'm getting sick 2 to 3 times a year. Okay. So I get that. My immune system is starting to fail me.
Well, my point being is that COVID was used as a crutch for a lot of stupid government bullshit during that time frame, and then they tried to use it like Trump fucked up all this shit with the economy. We'll just talk about the economy. He fucked up all this shit with the economy due to COVID. When you shut down most of the fucking country, of course your economy's going to tank. Like, that's just a no-brainer. You can't blame that on him. Now, you said if he would have handled it in the first place correctly, that it would have lasted 2 to 6 weeks and we would have been done. I still don't think so. My only argument about that is...
maybe not have been done, but I think that if there had been a better plan, if we had actually taken fucking action in the beginning, we would not be as bad off as we are.
How would you have expected people to survive for 2 to 6 weeks without going anywhere? Martial law.
Well, maybe that wasn't the answer, but I'm just saying if some sort of action had been taken in the very beginning of all of this, okay, I 110% believe that our economy would be in a lot better position. He slept on it. Like, let's be honest. But he joked about it for fucking weeks.
Well, right, but I don't think taking a stance sooner or making a game plan sooner would have affected the economy. Because no matter what you do, if money in this country is not moving, the economy is going to fall. And literally, when people are when you know, you literally had events in this country like the NBA shutting down and NASCAR shutting down and big events shutting down that literally spend probably millions of dollars a day, you know, for these events, and they were just shut down. COVID was going on for months before they let people know what it was.
This is true.
And
Because I'm pretty sure my daughter had it in 2019.
I will see, and I thought I got something very similar, or like maybe it was the first strain of COVID in like December of 2019, because I got sick for like a week, and that was not normal for me. So it's just like one of those things where it's like, I think shutting down the country was a bad idea, especially when we didn't have enough knowledge, enough data on what it was yet. They were already admitting they didn't know how to handle it. They're telling us all to mask up. My problem was too, is like I said, I worked in retail and we got told to mask up, and we're all fucking wearing masks, and the majority of people in the public were wearing masks. I don't give a shit what anybody says. I mean, we're in Utah, which is a big Republican state, and you had your people not, but the majority of people were wearing masks. How come it wasn't stopping the spread?
Okay, so let's look at this as, because we're just talking about economy now, right?
Yeah.
Masks don't work. Oh.
I didn't say masks don't work. That's not what I said.
I know.
I asked the
but my
question.
chat is saying that, and I'm just salty as fuck right now.
Masks don't work. I really think she's pushing your buttons just to see.
She is definitely trying to fucking push my buttons, and I'm getting fucking irritated about it.
But do you think masks actually worked? Let's just hit on that real quick.
I think that they did.
What, but then how were the numbers kept going up?
Because people refused.
No. As somebody who literally worked during that entire time in a busy as hell grocery store, I highly disagree with that. The majority, I would say a good 95% of people wore masks. So then I would say, why did it keep spreading? I saw it firsthand. Majority of people wore masks.
It's not just the masks. It's the cleaning and the desanitizing. Yes, let's make everything dirty.
Make your immune system better.
But it just goes along those lines. Okay, there's multiple precautions, multiple steps that people had to take in order to not get it.
I think the problem which was highlighted during all this was people buying the amount of cleaning shit they were buying. Everybody's like desanitize. And now I'm saying the same fucking thing you are. God damn it! Everyone's saying
Ash's cat, thank you so much for the follow.
But everyone's saying sanitize, right? Sanitize, wash your hands, wear a mask, sanitize. Now, I don't know if you have any family members like this, but I've heard stories, because I don't have family members like this. I've heard stories of family members that have two kids that have their own children, right? So grandma with grandbabies. The one daughter is the clean freak, okay? Kids are always clean, great, but they're sick once a month on average, let's just say. The other one, not so clean, kind of dirty. Kids are always like playing in the mud, bullshit, right? The kid's never fucking sick, or the kid's sick like twice a year. I argue, stop fucking sanitizing everything and let your immune system do what it's built to fucking do.
So you believe in herd mentality?
I think it would have worked a lot better.
Okay, so, and Rice Queen can attest to this. I went majority of COVID without wearing a mask unless it was absolutely required.
Right. So then,
but I never got it.
So, but if you believe in masks so much, why didn't you wear one? If masks work.
I am an asthmatic.
Well, there's even more the reason you should have worn a mask, because it's literally it attacks the upper respiratory system.
Okay, fine. You want me to come clean? I'm suicidal.
Oh, well, don't say that.
Like that, but that was majority of the reason I didn't. Is okay, if something's gonna kill me, let it happen. Okay,
right, fine.
This can get really dark really fast. I don't.
God damn it! Damn, Nick.
But back on the
economy.
The economy.
Okay.
Okay. let's I'm gonna go 2008 to 2021 because it won't let me go to 2023 because we don't have those statistics yet.
Why not? I'm just kidding.
Why not? Because they just haven't been released yet.
Release the
Okay.
documents, you greedy bastards.
This is from the GDP. In 2008, we had a debt ratio of 0.1. In 2009, Obama did great and got us down to negative 2.6.
What does that mean? Clarify what a debt ratio is.
Basically, it's all numbers. How
Well,
much
just
debt the country is. How
The
much in
country's
debt the
debt?
country is.
Okay.
Yeah. So negative 2.6 means we're not that much in debt.
Right.
Now, 2010, after the whole Ebola thing, blah, blah, blah.
And the housing market
2.7.
crash.
Yes, and the housing market crashed and we went through a recession.
Yes.
It piped up to 2.7. Now, Obama, from 2010 to his last term was what? 2012? No.
Obama's?
2016.
That's it, 2016.
Okay. From 2010 to 2016, he had kept it at a 2 point. So in 2010, it was 2.7. And then at his end of his term, it was 1.7. It was actually heading down in a good way because we were starting to be more economically positive. Okay. And then Trump took office. Instantaneously after he took office, it went to 2.9.
You can't just say it's just because Trump took office. There has to be other factors.
Well, there's other factors when it comes to the government, but and this is just to see how much people paid attention in 2016. Obama had left him with the economy booming and in the right direction to get us out of this shithole to make it so we would be more successful.
Well, and I'm honestly my thoughts on Obama as a president is he was not a bad president, mind you.
No, I loved him.
Now that being said, I do agree we were in a good spot as a country when Obama left office. I pretty good for the most part. I would assume, and I don't know how true this is, but I would assume the debt percentage changes every time a president changes. There's an increase or probably an increase if I had to guess. And like I said, I don't know.
Most likely.
But you said, wait, what? It was at 1.2?
1.7.
1.7 and it went to 2.9. So it went up over 1%.
Yes.
Which I would want to know why. You know what I mean? Like that's a pretty significant jump.
It is a significant jump, and again, things change when people take office, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And this is not just tied to the administration. We're talking complete government, chaotic.
They change
bullshit.
Everything out, right? Like literally every time there's a new president, their whole cabinet changes and all that bullshit happens. And
exactly.
And
plus, we have the GOP and the House of Representative, who's leading that majority, which minority, blah, 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 blah. Now,
what was it when Trump left office, though?
When Trump left office in...
Which he left in 2000, right? No.
2021.
It was 2021.
2021
right?
Was...
On the upswing of the bottom out from COVID.
Yes.
Would you agree with that? Okay.
Yes. And it went up to... Or, excuse me. Because now I think I'm reading this backwards. But it was at the economy was at its worst point in 2021 when he left. It's 5.9, and that's why I say I think I'm reading this backwards.
Well, and no, I would almost argue that might not be wrong. Think about all the shit that happened during COVID. I'm sure all the money we were taking and not paying back as a country.
I'm gonna ask you to not, because that's asinine. I'd say Bill Clinton was a better fucking president, and I don't even like him.
Honestly, in my honest opinion, and I know this is going to sound weird and out of place for me, in my lifetime, Obama was the best president we've had.
Absolutely.
The only thing that I completely started to not like him on was in his last couple of years. he did, in my opinion, contribute to the divide in this country a little bit. He said some things. I think he was trying to be political and cool the fires, and I think it backfired on him. He was a very well-spoken man. I don't give a shit who anybody that says anything about him. Doesn't matter his policies, his bullshit. Obamacare was great on paper until the party started throwing it back and forth.
Right.
And it really was. It really was. And everybody wants to blame, just to speak about Obamacare quick, everybody wants to blame the Republicans for that, but it was both. They were throwing it back and forth, and it became a jumbled fucking
Because they
mess.
can't never agree on anything.
Well, right. And it just became this fucking jumbled mess. And that's what happened to Obamacare. But Obamacare, originally, when I first heard it, I was like, that's the fucking best idea ever. Because I got a lot of respect for Obama because that's one of the things he ran on. He said, I want to change the healthcare system. And then he fucking did it. You know what I mean? Like, how many politicians in my childhood and your childhood, presidents and shit, well, we need to have better healthcare. And then they don't do shit, right? Bush didn't do anything. Clinton didn't do shit. Like, these people just didn't do shit. They said they were going to, but they never did anything.
Right. And then one thing that hold on. One thing that Republicans praise Trump for is abolishing or trying to abolish Medicare.
Well, my question would be, was he trying to abolish it and replace it with something, or was he just trying to get rid of it? I don't know enough about it to know what he was trying to do.
And this is why Republicans praise him so much. He was trying to get rid of Medicaid, Medicare, and this food stamp program for majority of Americans.
Well, I do believe those systems do need to be reworked. I don't think they should go away. I think the way they're fundamentally put into place now is actually hurting people more than helping them.
Okay, so let me just put it down like this, though. In a Medicare or Medicaid situation, adults can't get it unless they are a disabled adult.
Well, who else should need it? If I'm a young, capable person, I should be more than able to go out and get a job, make money, and get insurance, or pay out of
hold
pocket.
on.
No, that's just young, capable person. I'm not talking about kids, extra factors. Just a solo person.
I would normally agree that yes, you should be able to get and afford your own medical insurance, but that key word in there is afford.
Right. I always thought they should have controlled the cost of the insurance rather than control who was supposed to have it. If that makes sense.
So I'll just say this, like, I don't go to the doctors. I don't get seen for anything. I could slice my arm 3 inches deep, and I would probably just sew that shit up myself because I refuse to go to a hospital. I can't afford it.
Well, I don't go to the doctors either. I pay for fucking insurance I usually don't ever use.
See, and I can't afford the insurance.
Why not?
Why not?
That's a legitimate question. Not trying to be an ass.
Oh no, I'll break it down for you. Hold on. Okay, so insurance from my company for just me is $220 a paycheck.
Good God.
And that's just me. Now you tack on my 3 kids, spouse, and her kids, that goes up to $660 or more per paycheck.
Well, then you just got a shitty insurance company with your company.
Well, what am I supposed to do? Because health insurance is not cheap.
Go online to healthcare.gov and find your better health insurance. That's what the government would tell you to do. Right now, even. Yeah. That's what that was put in place for, was because of Obamacare.
That can't be right, Fu Man, and it's 110% right. Okay? And I'll fucking expose myself right now. My take home right now without having insurance is roughly $1,500 every 2 weeks.
Do you get paid hourly?
Currently.
Okay.
Okay, but I mean, just hear me out. That's $1,500 every 2 weeks. That's $3,000 a month. Okay, then I got to account for rent.
Well, but your guys' now not to pry, I'm not trying to pry, but from what I understand, your guys' living arrangements not typical. Is that correct?
No, Currently, no.
Okay, so and then, like I said, I'm not going to pry. I'm not going to ask anymore. But so that brings in factors to finances being tighter, I would assume.
Oh, dude, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I make good fucking money, and I can't afford. I barely made it to work this morning with gas.
Well, right. Well, and I guess what I'm getting at is with the two different households, it makes it tighter for you to live, right? As a whole family
Yes
unit.
and no. Yes and no. Okay, but because she and I don't live together, she doesn't have to include my income when it comes to her government assistance.
Well, right.
Otherwise, her family wouldn't eat.
Well, right.
I
So, but
live.
I guess if I'm assuming she works,
Mhm.
does she work full time? And like,
Yeah.
not trying to pry, just getting things situated in my brain because I actually just sat down with my girlfriend the other day and we went over our budget, which isn't really a budget; it's more like a how fucking poor am I thing. But
I get it. I get it.
but like assuming she makes decent money, I would say probably somewhere below you. Would that be a fair assumption?
So,
So you don't have to
her
give me details.
wages.
Just
Well, right. Her wages are unfair, in my opinion,
why is it unfair?
because the amount of work that she does, she should be making more, a lot more.
Is she salary?
No.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, so but does she bring in what you bring in every 2 weeks?
Oh no.
She doesn't work at the general dollar store, does she?
No.
Sorry,
Thank
horror
fucking
stories about
God.
that kind of shit.
No. So I'll just give you a ballpark.
Okay.
Together, we roughly take home $4,500 a month.
Okay. I would say in a normal, well, well, how many kids are there altogether?
6.
Well, that definitely escalates things a bit. Because kids are hella expensive. Well, kids are hella expensive. I know. I've had 4 consistently.
But hold on. You gotta tack on. Okay, our rent's $1,700 a month.
Right. Well, that's
Car
what I was getting
insurance.
at.
Car insurance and rentals insurance is another $300, so there's $2,000 gone.
Right.
Okay, then there's the car payments plus interest. There's loan payments plus interest, credit cards. We both have car payments, so there's 2 car payments in total. You know, my tool bills, because I have to have tools for my job. I have to be able to do my job, right?
Right. But that's
And then-
write-off. You could write that off.
Technically, but no.
Why not?
Because that one screwdriver I bought from Snap-on for $40 could have been bought somewhere else for $1.
I don't think that's how that works. It's a business expense. You can, well, I guess, where you're not
I'm not my own business. I'm doing
Right.
business for somebody.
Right. Okay.
Okay, but just saying, those bills start to add up, and we're utilities, etc. We're scraping by. Like, we make decent money, and if the system wasn't so rigged against us average humans down here,
Oh, I agree.
like it, if I had a mortgage, that would be another situation. I wouldn't be paying $1,700 a month in rent. I'd probably be paying $1,400 on a mortgage,
I disagree.
and then I'd have more. You disagree?
We pay almost $2,000,
Okay,
and this house is not that big. Like, I mean, it's
Okay.
big. Don't get me wrong; it's comfortable. I'm not going to say it's tiny by any stretch.
But go back to 2020. No, not even 2020. 2020 is where things started getting bad. But 2020 is actually not that bad of a year. But let's go back 5 years ago, 2018.
Okay.
Okay, 2018. I have a friend who bought a 6-bedroom house on 3,500 square feet for $180,000.
Well, you're right. No, for sure. Right now,
And his mortgage is only right now, since he just refinanced, his mortgage is $1,200 a month.
Well, right. If you got in back then, 100%. But if you got in any time within the last few years, your mortgage is more than rent, which I agree with your mentality or your mindset on that, how usually a mortgage is cheaper than paying rent, because that's how I always knew it too. And then now that's not the case. With several people I know that have bought homes, they're like, no, I'm paying like $1,700 to $2,100 a month. I'm like, for what? Oh, just for this little house. Like, and
Right,
don't get me
but
wrong,
okay.
they're screwing themselves over in a lot of ways, but
Right, but let's take into a fact of other things that could happen as being a renter. Okay, let's say your washing machine has a drain, right? All of them do. Your washing machine has a drain, but when the company that you bought that washing machine from came and installed it, they didn't install a lock on the hose for the thing, so all the water got on the floor, ran down the stairs, ran up through the carpet, through the walls, blah, blah, blah.
is this a life experience of yours?
This is a life experience. Okay. And then the landlord, instead of calling a plumber to figure out where the water's coming from, they call a disaster service.
What?
Hold on. A disaster service charges minimum $2,500 just to come inspect the damage.
Well, right, which is on your landlord to pay.
Nope.
That's not something you caused.
No, it's not. But we're the ones who put the washing machine there.
But the drain wasn't working correctly.
The drain works. The hose fell out of the drain.
Well, okay, on that part, I can kind of understand that actually.
Okay,
Much as
but
that sucks. But
we had to pay $2,500 out of pocket.
well, okay.
Do I have that in savings? No.
Well, no.
Do I have anything in savings? No.
I'm like you. I live usually paycheck to paycheck, and I make a little more than you. Well, we bring in a little more than you. I shouldn't say I make more than you because I don't make much more than you. But
Well, my last paycheck was my best one, but I had some overtime.
yeah, we're bringing in a roughly about in a little over six grand a month, give or take. So it's like, but when you, like you said,
Now-
when you take all that shit into account, and you take in insurance into account. She's got insurance on her kids. I've got insurance on my son. My insurance is $220 a month, so which isn't horrible. It's
No.
doable. Hers
But,
is I
like-
think more than mine. So
But between car insurance, car loans, and all that, we're that alone is over $1,000.
right.
So I mean, if you it all boils down to the system is so rigged against us. Like me personally, if you pull up my credit, I only have $4,800 in debt.
Do you have a lot of things on? Have you had things in collections?
That's including my collections.
Wait, you say how much?
$4,800.
That's not bad. Now,
But the problem is, I'm living.
That's active debt though.
That's active debt.
So like car loans and whatever, right?
Well, no. That's just it. My cars are in her name. Why? I don't qualify.
Well, it's because if you've made any of the same mistakes I've made with credit, it's the whole I chose not to have credit after I sunk it, and I left it alone.
Now, see, I didn't get that opportunity. I was never taught about credit. I was never taught about finances. And before my first marriage at 18 years old, I had a girlfriend who eventually became my wife who decided to go write a couple grand in bad checks, and I've never been
Ooh.
able to fix it since.
Well, I mean, hey, just 7 years, it falls off your credit, right? Just
Generally, yes. And actually, when I was at BK, they were garnishing my wages, which was fine. It got paid off. That's fine. But now, even in the situation I'm in, I only owe $4,800.
right, which
I
isn't shit.
could. It's not shit. And my credit's still below 550. Okay. I can't go get a small $4,800 fucking loan to pay that off and then pay that loan because my credit's shit. I can't do anything to rectify it.
So fun fact: did you know the credit system didn't used to exist in this country at all?
Oh yeah, I know.
You just had to go argue your point to a loan officer. Then, if they liked you enough, they gave you money. That's literally how it used to work.
Well, see, and then I was on the right track. When I was at BK, I was on the right track because I walked into a credit union. They gave me a credit card, a line of credit, all the good stuff. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I was using that account properly. I was paying my bills, whatever. And then as soon as my garnishment started happening, I couldn't pay my bills anymore.
Well, yeah, no, I know how that works. I was being garnished right before I left my last job, and that sucked. It was literally that job paid a little less than the one I'm at now, but they were taking $400 a paycheck out. $400 fucking dollars a paycheck, and that was like
That's how much it was for me.
it's like that is crippling every month. It's like people don't seem to understand that, like that's $800 a month that you don't have
Right.
now.
And then there's some people who've never had to pay child support or what have you.
Yeah.
Like there's so many people that just don't understand the complete look around of life and living.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I always think I have this thought process. It's you want a better paying job, go to school. Can't afford school, get a better paying job. Can't get a better paying job because I need to go to school.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
like
you
a
just
sick cycle that you can't get out of.
exactly.
But I would see, well, and I think that's a lot of the things that we as a society in America, we brainwash these kids into thinking they have to go to school to get a better paying job, and that's just not true. Or at least it's not true anymore. It may have been
Right.
a lot truer when we were first entering the work field, all that shit, and getting our first few jobs, but now, not really. And a lot of that's honestly because of COVID. COVID changed a lot of the way employers look at employees now, or at
Right.
least entry level employees, because
Right.
the ones that have been there a while, they still screw them over. But
Y'all cyber school doesn't even guarantee a better paying job.
no,
I would be inclined to agree with that. Why? Because I have my IT certifications. And
you go through, you spend whatever you spend, right? Like 5, 10, 30 grand, whatever it is. And then you have all these loans, and then you can't even fucking pay them off because you can't get a job in the field you have your degree in or your certification in. And you have to go get a job somewhere else, and then you just can't pay off your shit.
right. And beginning salary for an IT technician is $48,000. That's beginning.
That's making bank.
That's good money. However, I made more than that as a fucking manager for a Burger King.
But that's because through when we were younger, that's what everybody was told to go into. Go into IT, go into IT, go into IT. Everybody was
Right.
told
And
to
now it's so
fucking go into IT.
saturated.
Right. The irony is they were telling everybody back then, don't go do a trade. Don't go do a trade. There's no money in trades. There's so many people doing trades right now that you'll never make money in it. And now we're seeing the exact cycle happen just the opposite way this time. Now everyone's like, go do a trade. Go become a fucking welder. Go become a mechanic, because these old guys are getting ready to retire and quit, and they're going to need new people. And now IT is overflooded, so nobody can get a good job in IT.
Right. I mean, even with my certifications, like there would be an opening in the IRS, but they didn't like just that certification. They wanted more schooling, and I couldn't afford that.
Yeah.
I don't even qualify for a fucking Pell Grant.
I don't qualify for shit. They just take one look at me, see the fucked up eye, and they're like, nope. You can't even read the fucking papers, dude. I'm like, but I can. It works. I promise. Fucking assholes.
I'm so tired of how the system's rigged against me. I'm literally like, it's been a discussion between Rice Queen and I for a couple months now, well, considering like moving out of this country. And
See, but that's the problem, okay? You move out of the country. Are you instantly going to get things in other countries without being a citizen of that country? Because I would argue, I bet not. Now, I don't know facts, but I know a lot of countries, they'll help their citizens, but their immigration systems are not the same as America's, is how I'll put it. In America,
No,
from
yeah,
my understanding,
yeah.
you can walk into this country, and this is just from my understanding. I don't know this. I don't know people who have experienced this, but they can basically come into the country and they can get a lot of stuff
can they?
because they're coming here. Well, that's why I say I don't know. I've heard.
I mean, a lot of them get met with bullets. So.
Well, talking about government assistance at the moment, but like I've heard, like I don't know how true this is, but I've heard that like depending on which country you come from, depends on like the government will give you some sort of basically it's like an allowance for a set time frame.
Yeah, it's called your visa, your green card. Yeah.
Well, but do they give you money to be here with your green card? That's what I mean.
No,
Legitimately,
no,
I've heard that you can get. And like I said, I don't know how true that is. It's just a thing I've heard. I've never looked into it, but
So
I've also heard they can get on things like food stamps and Medicare a lot easier than even the average capable citizen.
now, if they're like say they're coming in here with nothing, yes, they can get on those financial assistance programs. However, no, they're not giving these people an allowance.
Well, like I said, it's just something
And
I heard
and
about, and I never looked into it.
and there's a lot of employers who won't even sponsor a visa, and your visa has to be sponsored in order for you to stay. You have X amount of time from getting that visa
But
in order to,
why wouldn't an employer want to sponsor a visa if they had a good employee?
because a lot of employers just don't trust people.
Well, I mean, we've literally built this country so freedom to go tell your boss to fuck off and walk out.
Well, it's not
And-
even that.
Or do they think they're
Some
just
of
going to
them-
use them for the visa and then leave?
That, or this person could commit a crime and get deported, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It goes down a list.
I mean, that's all. There's no way they could prove any of that. But like I said, the way the system in this country is built, any company is going to do the smart thing and to try to prevent themselves from being sued, because we're so happy in this fucking country that they're going to say, if there's any a hint of a lawsuit, they'll just be like, nope, I don't want to deal with it. So if there was a visa for somebody and there was even a hint of a lawsuit, I don't want to touch it. I don't
Right.
want to deal with it. I'm not going to. Nope. Which there could be, because everybody wants to cry everything in this country and then sue everybody for it.
I'm gonna sue you for your shirt.
Why? It says
It says
squatters.
squatters.
I put the beer on shelves. It's a free fucking t-shirt, okay? That's all it is. I work in a warehouse all day. People don't see me other than my coworkers. The best insurance I ever had in my working career ever was for one retailer. I literally paid $49.98 a month, and it was not shitty insurance.
See, and that's great.
Yeah, it
Like-
was fucking amazing, because I actually went to that retailer, made less than the job I left, but my paychecks went up because my insurance was cheaper.
Right.
And I was like,
And
oh, cool.
I had insurance when I worked for the IRS, because government insurance is the fucking best.
They pay for you you solely outright, don't they? For the government?
Yeah. You've also hold on, Fu. Are you still at T-Mobile?
Yeah, Fu, I thought you were sliced away. No more store for you, friend. No more store.
No more phones.
Well, I think last I heard he was burning all his vacation time and sick time.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. And
They offered me a similar position. They got you, Boo. They got
They
you.
got
That's
you.
what they did. They're like, guess what? We'll make him think he's going to get fired. He'll feel desperate. He'll take whatever we give him.
hook, reel, and sinker.
It's a fucking plan, because I'm not going to say I've ever done it, because I haven't, but I've thought about it.
I've done it.
Sometimes you got to make people think that their job's on the line to shape them up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you took it.
I've been in. I've been in 2 GM positions, so
Fair enough. So now I'm gonna go find what store he's working at, and I'm gonna egg it from outside, even if it's in a mall. I don't give a shit. I'll do it. One egg.
I'll find which store it is and I'll let you know.
Okay.
It's not hard to find them.
Well, we kind of got off topic there for a minute.
Yeah, we did.
And we kind of went down.
Oh, you're at the junction now?
We went down a weird rabbit hole.
We did. It got kind of personal and dark.
Dark, and then it talked about finances, because being middle class, or what I consider lower middle class.
I'm fucking at the bottom of the barrel, but
Yeah. Oh, trust me, I know. When the gas gauge gets to, just above E, and you're like, well, fuck, I've got 60 miles to go today. That's not going to work.
I started my car this morning because I was looking at the mine's got the thing that tells you how far you can go,
Oh yeah, yeah.
and it said I think I started with 19 miles,
How
and I
far
was
is
like,
work from your
okay,
house?
8 miles,
Oh,
and I was like, if I granny shift it and do not touch VTEC, I can definitely make it to work. I stayed under 3 grand the entire time.
oh, jeez. That'll
'Cause
get it though.
I'm that asshole driver who's always revving all the way out to 7,000.
Well, no wonder you go through so much gas.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, my car's also tuned though, so like
You have to.
you know,
It wants to go.
it wants to move.
Yeah. No, I can understand that. Okay. Now we're not riled up anymore either, which is good.
No,
I
yeah.
wasn't really getting riled up. I mean, I think we kind of did for a minute, and then
I mean, we could go back to the thing of morals, because who gets to decide? No, it's not a decision
but it,
making thing.
but it is.
It's not.
You could claim that morals are solely based on a societal construct, just like everything else they want to claim it on. And I'll tell you why. I'll give you the perfect fucking example. Back in the day, like we're talking like way fucking back in the day, they sacrificed people to the gods, right? This was a known
Well,
thing in
yeah.
some cultures. Do you think in that culture they considered that an immoral act?
No.
Exactly.
However, it's 2023.
No, I agree with you. My point I was making was morality is changing
Yes,
depending on perspective, which is why morality is subjective. It depends on how you look at things.
but
Human
if you're going to,
decency's a sliding scale. As much as it sounds
oh,
fucked up.
if you're gonna base your morals off of a fictional book, then I'm gonna tell you your morals are wrong.
You're saying off the Bible. Let's just say it. I'll say it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, and I agree. I don't. I think for me, my morals, at least in my train of thought, is like try to be a good person to the best of my ability and treat people the way I would prefer to be treated. If I'm being an asshole, call me on it, just like I would expect, like I call some people on it. But
But you also have to live with that mentality of respect is earned. However, sometimes you have to give to get. So,
well, see, like respect has been one of those things where I've changed my perspective on it, kind of here and there, because I used to very much have the mentality of if you give me respect, I will give you respect, and not until then. That's modified as I've gotten older, where it's more like I'll give you baseline respect, and which is just I'll give everybody baseline respect, but once you fucking burn me, fuck you, I'm done.
right, I can agree with that.
And because because a lot of people do have that whole mentality though of like, once you give me respect, I'll fucking give you respect. It's like, no, it's a two-way street. Everybody gives everybody respect. Then if they burn you, you get to do something about it.
Generally. Ugh.
Well, depends. But I think morals are just always changing, and everybody has their
They
own
are.
perspective on what they feel is the correct morals for their life. Because I think that's the better way of looking at it. But like I was
When
saying
it comes
before,
to morals as far as politics or people, I think there needs to be a baseline that just stop being an asshole.
well, I agree. No, like stop being an asshole. Open your fucking ears, which is
Let people fucking
part of
live.
morals. Let people live. Have conversations. Be willing to have conversations.
Yes.
And and God, above all fucking else, agree to disagree sometimes and walk the fuck away from the conversation. You don't have to argue so much to a point that you hate each other.
Agreed. Now, I'm gonna just throw this out there for all the listeners and people who have opinions.
I think he's talking about you, Phil.
if If you're a single issue voter, just don't.
A single issue voter
Yes.
is clarify for people that may not know what a single issue voter is, and for me, because I was going to use that as a cover, but I don't. I think I know what it is, but I want to make sure I'm right before I say anything.
Voting for somebody, whether it be a president, whether it be a governor or a senator, for one fucking reason.
Well, yeah, that's just the dumbest thing you could ever do.
That's how Trump became a president.
No, that's how he'll be. That's how he'll get his next run. Before that,
He's not going to be able to get his next run.
I don't know. Well, the witch hunt, they'll probably have his ass locked up by then anyway, so that's why he won't
Exactly.
get it. But I think that was part of it why he won in 2016. I think the other part is that he was not a career politician. I think a lot of people
that may be factual,
looked at it,
but
and
a lot
said,
of the thing was,
well, I think they looked at
Go
that and they said, finally, we have somebody who could actually go into the White House that hasn't been doing this for 40 fucking years, and maybe they will make some real change.
But we had
that's
that.
why he has so much with who?
Obama.
But Obama was a career politician. He had been in politics for quite a while before he became.
But did we know about it?
No, we don't have to know about it. How many people do we actually know about have been in politics for fucking years until they do something either really fucking stupid or they get to a high enough point that we know about it? I didn't know Biden had been in until he was the vice president, and he'd been there for like 30 fucking years at that point.
And see, that's where things get different. I didn't know Obama beforehand, but I knew about Biden, and I knew about X amount of people prior. And the statement is made that Obama wasn't I wouldn't say he was a high-level politician, because nobody knew about him until he became president.
Well, no, I'm not saying a high-level politician, but somebody who's been in the politician game for a while. I mean, I don't know how long he was in politics before that, but like my point being is, I think that's why a lot of people wanted to see Trump in office, was because he hadn't been playing the politics game for years and years on end. He hadn't been doing that. He started with the president, said, fuck it, I'm going to run for president. And a lot of people were like, this is the breath of fresh air we're hoping for. I'm not saying they got what they wanted or anything, but I'm just saying it was seen as, because I will never forget when he got elected, what everybody kept saying, he's not even a career politician. And it was like, but that's part of the reason why he got voted in.
Majority of the people I know who voted for him voted for one reason, and it's because he had sworn to come into office to protect gun rights.
I don't see that as a completely horrible thing.
A single issue.
Well, right, but that's not all he ran on either.
No, but that's the only reason they voted. Otherwise, they wouldn't normally vote.
Then I think the better question in that scenario would be, why would they be so afraid of that? Why would they vote for him on one issue, like you said, on one issue? They wouldn't have voted for him if they were afraid that Hillary wasn't going to go in and try to take their guns away.
But she wasn't. That's just it. People don't understand that there is a chain of command. There's a line to go through. Like,
well,
yes, they sign executive orders, but 9 times out of 10, that shit's going to get fought down by the senators.
Well, right. Honestly, the whole way the political system in this country works is a fucking joke anymore, anyways. And
Agreed.
I don't see it changing. Like we've talked about this before, it's not going to change. It's probably just going to get more toxic and worse as the next few years go on. I mean, I can't wait to see what happens for this next election. I think I'm going to buy me popcorn and just sit and watch shit on TV. See who said what dumb thing. And I mean,
is Biden even going to run, though? That's the question.
Can Biden even walk to campaign? I mean,
goddamn.
I'm just saying, the dude's fucking ancient, okay? And like, I'm okay with people
Face
being
it,
old.
buddy, we're almost ancient. We were born in the 1900s.
Oh fuck! Yeah, the 1900s, the 1980s for me. God, I'm fucking old.
I'm so tired of hearing kids say, "Oh, you were born in the late 1900s." Like, shut up.
Little bastards, anyways. Uh,
I've had cars that are older than me. Yes.
yeah, so have I.
Do you have anything else to talk about for the podcast, man?
I don't think so. I'm kind of teetered out now. I started my
Yeah.
little rant on Twitter. You jumped in, kind of fired it up a little bit, and now I've talked
Here
through
we
my
are.
issues. Yeah, I'm good.
Alrighty, folks. Those of you listening on Twitch, thanks for coming by and hanging out with us. Those of you listening to this on your normal podcasting selection, thank you for listening. If you want to hear more of this, reach out to us on Twitter. We're on Twitter, you know? It's a thing. But yeah, we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Alright.
How long was that?
1 hour and